For the political roundtable this week, MPT's Charles Robinson is joined by Oyin Adedoyin, who is the editor-in-chief of the Spokesman student newspaper at Morgan State University. Oyin and Charles, thank you for being with us.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
Let's start with more on this HBCU settlement news. And Oyin, how is that playing? I don't know if you're on spring break or not, but on campus in the Morgan community, how's that news playing?
In the Morgan community, that news is doing exceptionally well. As you know, Morgan is kind of employing a bit of a semi-hybrid model right now on campus. So we only have about 1,000 students that are actually on the grounds. Then the rest of the student population is all over the country right now, some even internationally. But over social media, at least since the stories dropped on the Spokesman site, we've seen a lot of attention to this particular story, a lot of excitement.
And thinking about the timeline of this story, 15 years. I don't want to talk about the age of the graduating seniors, but the young students, the high school seniors who are applying for admission these days. This got started when they were in preschool.
It's been long running. Oh, I'm sorry, Charles, you can go ahead.
No, well, I was going to say, one of the things that's always very interesting is the time frame, how long it took to get to this point. Jeff, you and I have been writing about this literally since we have been at MPT. It is a thorn in the side of both legislators as well as all of the HBCU presidents. They feel like they have been cheated out of an enormous pot of, quote, gold. And at the end of the day, to get to this point, to get that signing this week was a major accomplishment.
Oyin, when you look around campus, what are the needs? And I know there's always physical structure, buildings, that sort of thing. But not only is this pot of gold going to be for buildings and development, but also the secondary part of the lawsuit, which concerned duplication of programs and having new and exclusive programming at the HBCUs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that we're talking about a lot in the newsroom and talking about as far as the student body is concerned as well. Kind of going off of what Charles said, it's been so tumultuous over this 15 years. So it hasn't been kind of this slow moving bill. There's been a lot of back and forth between even just last year, the governor, Larry Hogan, had vetoed the bill. And so we covered that due to coronavirus concerns with coronavirus packages coming out. And so the idea that this is now not just back on the table, but also has been passed. The $577 million is going to go towards, like you said, some programming, which was kind of the basis of why this bill was in place in the first place, because, it was proven that Maryland was giving more money to its PWIs to establish these professional programs, professional schools that the state's HBCUs just didn't have. And so our student body had to go elsewhere post-grad, maybe to get some of those graduate degrees.
TWI is traditionally white institutions. Charles?
Sure. Let me add to that, because this is not over with yet. There is still a settlement agreement that has to be agreed to by all the aggrieved parties. So that includes the state, which will be represented by Attorney General Brian Frosh, who has said he likes this idea and wants to see, the ink before it dries. There is the judge, the federal judge in this case, who ruled against the state. And then, of course, the attorneys who are representing all of the schools. And understand this, there were a lot of alumni from these schools who put a lot of pressure, not only on legislators, but all the interested parties. Because at the end of the day, you can have something written down, but if you don't agree, it goes nowhere.
Oyin, I just have a minute left, and I'm curious, you're a graduating senior. You tell us about your plans going forward and how much the pandemic has impacted your college experience over the last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy year, one that I don't think anybody planned for, but especially with running a newsroom, a virtual newsroom, that has been an incredibly At some points frustrating, but at other points extremely rewarding task, because it's amazing to see what kind of work, like, what we got done with the news that came out just this week, what kind of work that can be done in such a, tumultuous time. So it's been rewarding. I'm excited for the next step.
Well, congratulations on your graduation, all the great work. People can find the Spokesman newspaper, Morgan State University. You can find that online. Oyin and Charles, thank you very much and have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And that is State Circle for this week. Join us every week at this time as we bring the State House to your house.